Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Bearded Specialist. Today we are talking about tools and tool sets. It's going to be kind of a general guideline of what I do and my opinion on the tool sets, and we'll kind of do a ranking as well on the big name brands that are out there. Top three tools I would rank for the standard tech installer electrician. I'm going to say DeWalt, Makita, and Milwaukee are the three top tools to buy, and that they are even on terms of quality and how long they will last. None of them beat the others. I would only say the best way to make a decision is if you're struggling to decide which tool set that you want, go with whichever one is on sale at the time that you can get for the best price. But those are my top three, and they are all equal for slots 1 to 3. If we drop down a tier, you're going to go, that's when you get into like the store brand tools. And when I say store brand, I'm talking Craftsman, which is Lowe's. Well, let me take that back. Craftsman isn't Lowe's, but it's the same quality. Because you have some store brands, like Craftsman is Sears brand, I guess, technically, but you don't have a lot of Sears stores anymore. So Lowe's sort of took that tool sets and included it in their stores. Let me rephrase that and say the box stores are, for Home Depot, you have Rigid. You've got, that's the black and orange color, kind of like this box set I've got over here that we're going to talk about in a different video, the Rigid tools. And then you've got Cobalt, which is the Lowe's equivalent. And then equal to those, you've got Bosch, which Bosch's quality ranges depending upon the tool that you're buying. Bosch is not bad. And then you've got Craftsman. So Cobalt, Craftsman, Rigid, Bosch, I would rank all those together. If you go into Walmart to buy tools, you're going to find Black & Decker. Black & Decker will get you through the day. I do not recommend it. I don't think it's a great tool quality. And I think I'm forgetting another one that's green, and I cannot remember the name of it. That kind of goes in line with the Rigid stuff, but we'll go over that again inside once I start editing. So for today, as you can guess by the screen in front of you, we're going to be talking predominantly about Milwaukee because that is the brand that I've decided to go with for myself, and I've been using them for quite a while. So if we zoom out, and sorry I'm filming this in my garage, so you bear with me a little bit. You can kind of see that I have a huge selection of Milwaukee tools, toolboxes, and I've even got the Milwaukee pack-out kit. We'll talk more about the pack-out kit in detail, and different modular designed toolboxes and kits like this that are just kind of taking over. They're really popular right now. I definitely cannot recommend getting one enough. It's way better than having a bunch of different organizers running around in the back of your truck or trying to keep up with them at your house or garage, and they just get better every year, it seems like. So if we look over here at the bottom, this is just an old school Milwaukee toolbox I've had for probably 5-6 years now. I bought it a while ago just to keep a random stock of tools in. Definitely upgraded from that with the pack outs. Above that in the next red box is a reciprocating saw that's a plug-in. I don't use it anymore. I want to say it was a gift from somebody, or maybe I just had to have a saw that day and it was the only one they had available. I can't remember, but I've had it for probably 6-7 years now. Still works. I just use battery powered stuff for everything. And then I've got a stack of bags inside of bags, because every time you buy one of these tools it comes with a bag, which is pretty nice. I use those just to carry around random materials and tools on occasion whenever I'm going into a job site and I don't want to carry a bunch of surplus items in with me. This M18 Fuel Box, that's just a toolbox that a impact and a hammer drill came in together with the kit that I bought. I think it was about $300. I believe the price is still around $300, but the batteries aren't as large as they used to be. Come up to the top of the table. I have a stack of impacts. Impacts are these smaller drills. Basically just go forward, back. Some of them, as you can tell, look new because I don't use them until they burn out. Others, I tend to keep one in my shop, one in my garage to use for the house, or if Morgan, the girlfriend, needs it, I'll let her use it. The others right out of my truck, and I keep 2-3 in the truck just in case one goes out, or if I want to use different bits without having to constantly change the chuck. But they do have the quick change chucks. What we mean by quick change chuck, right? If you look here, if you have a standard chuck, it does not have to be Milwaukee brand, it can be any brand, but it does need to be that same standard. You just pull out on it, and the bit will slide right out. Sorry, somewhat difficult to do one-handed. And there we go. And it's the same procedure, just push it back in, pull up on the ring, snap it back in, and you're good to go. These most of these chucks are magnetic, so the tips, they're in there pretty tight, but the magnet helps hold them in, helps pick up screws with them. All right, so that's 6 or 7 impacts. We'll go ahead and go over to the drills. So this is a standard drill. You don't see the hammer on it, right? It's just you've got 16 different speeds, and then you've got the drill icon for if you're using drill bits. Speed setting at the top, 1 and 2. I just keep it at 2 90% of the time. It's also got the little screw at the base, which is one thing I like about these drills. DeWalt does the same thing. Pretty much all the main manufacturers do the same stuff. And that's where you can put a bit holder, or you can put a belt holder or a belt clip, which all my belt clips are on my impacts, since that's typically what I'm carrying up and down a ladder. Works out really nice. Nice big gap, so it'll slide into your belt pretty easy. But they do make a bit holder for it that also works out. Some people like to just slide their chucks down in that little U-shaped bin. But I'm going to try to buy some bit holders, and then we'll do a video on that. And I'll put that on the other side. These drills here are the ones you should be buying. So what you'll see when you go to whatever big box store you decide to buy them at, Lowe's doesn't carry Milwaukee, only Home Depot does. But both carry DeWalt. So this drill, like I said, is not a hammer drill. A hammer drill is what you use for masonry, right? Going through brick, cement, concrete, whatever masonry type material you want to go through. Without that hammer feature, you're not going to get through it. I mean, if you just sit there and burn out some bits, you'll eventually get through it. But so you'll see a bunch of kits with this and with an impact, or you'll see this drill in with like a $300 to $600 set. But don't buy it, right? It's not a hammer drill. If you want to buy a drill that can do everything, make sure you buy one. Oh, my stuff is falling down. If you want to buy a drill that can do everything, you need to buy one that's got the little hammer icon. That way you know it's a hammer drill. That means it can go through masonry. It still has the speed settings. This one goes up to 18, plus the drill, plus the hammer, right? And all you have to do for that, twist the collar, and it'll change. If you're going through a lot of masonry, these drills are going to burn out. This drill here, is, as you can see, has definitely been worn out, been used a lot more. Still works, no problems with it. I've had this drill probably 5 years, and I have done a ton of drilling with it. Still works like a champ. This is a new one the company bought for me as I got rehired and started. So, personal tool, and this is my new tool. It's only about a month old. Hasn't had done any drilling other than a little bit of metal. And then we've got the pride and joy. If you're doing a lot of drilling, you're going to want to go ahead and buy one of these. This is a rotary hammer drill. Right, so this is Bosch makes a bunch of them. It used to be real hard to get these. You used to have to buy them through Hilti. Now a lot of different manufacturers make them in the last several years. This handle's adjustable, which is great. You know, you just press it on the switch, rotate it around. Same type color design of pushing in, pulling out to get the bits in and out. It's got different settings on it on the side, depending on what you're trying to do. Very comfortable drill. They also make add-ons for this where you can put a vacuum on it. Right now, HEPA for silica dust is extremely mandatory, almost on every site that I've been on recently. GCs require it. Also, I didn't talk about on the other drills. Every Milwaukee tool, every DeWalt tool, pretty much any power tool that you buy, it's going to have this safety switch at the top where you can put it in. Always just get in the habit of putting that in the lock whenever you're not using it. It'll help keep your batteries alive, help keep from making a mess or holes into things that you don't want to. But rotary drill, definitely necessary if you're drilling into masonry on a regular basis, which if you're doing low voltage work for CCTV, IP cameras, putting up gate pedestals, things like that, you're going to be using it a lot. So we've covered pretty much all the drills. Let's go ahead and talk about the flashlight. It doesn't list the lumens, but it is a floodlight. It's got 2 different settings, bright, low. I just keep it on low because it's still extremely bright. The handle is nice. The articulated design, the little octagon that goes around the edges is nice because you can just set it at different elevations and angles if you're trying to work on something. No complaints about this light. It's worked great for me. I will be eventually buying the pole light because I do a lot of painting and stuff as well for personal projects. So it'd be nice to have something that I could actually hang up higher. The reason I have zip ties off the back of it is I like to hang it off of conduit temporarily. So helps out in those dark IT closets. Also for personal home use, I have the Milwaukee edge trimmer. I've been using that for about 5 years now, I think 4 or 5 years. and it's been working great. No complaints about it. It does have a quick feed for the string. That quick feed is extremely nice. Literally, you just cut like a 2 to 4 foot piece of string, put it in the right setting at the bottom of it until it's got arrows that you just have to line up, slide the string through, and then twist, and you're done. So that fast load just makes things super easy. And then we've got the blower. Had it the same amount of time that we've had the trimmer. Got the hard hat, and of course the vest. Typically, your company's going to provide you with the hard hat and the vest. Mine just didn't have any at the time, so I went to Home Depot and picked up what was on sale at the time. Nothing fancy there. Not really a lot of stuff we need to talk about in depth. Next up, we have the grinding wheel or cutting wheel, however you want to describe it. It's a 4.5 inch wheel. It can go up to 5. Comes with a handle. This is what most of us use to cut in locks. Sometimes people use it to cut conduit. Sometimes stainless steel. Or you do some grinding with it if you have to do some cleanup. But most of it's just cut in locks. We have a nail gun. This is what I use for personal use. Again, came with a belt clip. This is a pin nailer, so I use it for cabinetry and other projects when I'm building shelves, desks, tables at home. Don't really have use for it at work. It's just not a deep enough nailer. Reciprocating saw, sawzall, whatever you want to refer to it as, hacksaw, which is what they call it. Right, you can put wood cutting blades, metal cutting blades, a lot of different sizes and lengths to it. Definitely need to pick up one of these. If you guys are buying tools for the first time, just go ahead and drop the extra money to buy the kit that comes with the sawzall, the hammer drill, an impact, and usually a skill saw, and then 1 or 2 other tools if you can find it. Around the holiday seasons is usually the best time to try to buy those types of things. Next up, we have gloves. Those were a gift from somebody. I have a Milwaukee flashlight, pin light. This I just carry in my pocket so I can do inspections, look above the ceiling, dark areas. Battery hasn't died yet. I've had this for probably 6 months, same battery. The box cutting knife, right? So I love these little knives because the blades are swappable. They're also double-sided, right? It's just a standard razor blade. So you press this little switch, you can pull the razor blade out, flip it over, get 2 different blades out of one, and it comes in a nice little kit to carry like an extra 20 blades with it. And a lot of job sites will let you carry this, but they won't let you carry a normal knife. You just strap this to your bag and you're usually good to go. 100-foot tape. I've got a regular tape measure too on the toolbox. I've got Milwaukee safety glasses. Again, I needed some new safety glasses. These are anti-fog and they were on sale. Picked these up when I picked up the hard hat and the vest. A tool that most of you will not need is an IR gun. Milwaukee does make an IR gun, and if you guys haven't ever seen one of these in use, you just point it at, say, the wall or whatever object you're trying to measure the temperature of. If you're trying to get room temp, press the switch and hold it, and it'll give you a temperature reading of whatever you're pointing at. So pretty nice for inspections. I used to do a bunch of low voltage controls for HVAC and building automation, so I have one of these for inspections. That way we could win arguments with mechanical. All right, next up we have this. This is a tool I didn't think I would need, but it has turned out to be extremely useful. Not so much for low voltage, but home use is great. Uses the same slide-in style battery. This is just a multi-tool. I don't have any of the other tools made for it. All I have is a cutting blade, and I use this for cutting out door trim and putting in tile. That way I don't have to rip the entire door frame off. I just toenail in, and it gives us the space we need to slide some tile under the door. We also have a jigsaw. So it's got metal cutting blades, wood cutting blades, whatever you need. Collar design is pretty similar to everything else. You just twist it open, slide the blade in, and let it close. Skill saw. The blade's a little worn out on this one, but I've got another blade sitting there. I have used this thing for, I don't know, I think I've built 3 decks with it. Put up 2 or 3 privacy fences for my sister and others with it. And it still runs like a champ. I have no issues, no complaints. The blade was a little wobbly, but I just bought a bigger blade, tightened it down a little bit more, good to go. We've got the Milwaukee Vacuum. So I'm not going to try to open it up in this video, but you open up the top, that's where the hose is. The hose is permanently connected. It's got a couple of attachments in there. and it uses the same slide-in style battery as everything else. And just slide it down, and you're good to go. It's got a standard on-off switch on top. Moving on, we have a pack of blades, right? This is a Milwaukee kit for the hacksaw. We have metal cutting blades, wood cutting blades, and if you don't know what blade to use for which, it'll tell you. Right, so this says it's for the torch, Milwaukee Sawzall, and it tells you it's for metal blades down at the bottom, or metal. Right, so if you're cutting conduit, you're cutting through stainless steel, or I say stainless steel, but I've cut through pretty much anything with this. Works very well. The wood cutting, the teeth are a little bit wider. If I can get my fingers in here to get it out. Right, so you can see the teeth are a different shape and size. And then again, if you're not sure, you can always look at the bottom, and it'll tell you it can cut through wood, and it can cut through wood with nails, and I verified that. Cutting out cabinets and stuff, this will definitely go through anything you put it up against. If you guys are cutting plastic, you can use either or, but I typically use a metal blade. It seems like it's a little bit smoother. And then we just have standard Milwaukee kits for drill bits. So if you wanted to see the titanium bits, this is standard for any manufacturer. I don't have a preference on drill bits. All the years I've been using it, they all seem to burn out at the same rate, unless we're talking the cheaper ones like Ryobi. Right. There's enough space in there to keep a unibit, so I keep one in there. I've always got my bits with me. As you can see, they've definitely been seeing some use, and these are only a month old. That bottom kit's my personal kit. It's probably 6 months old. Hole saw, right? I definitely recommend anybody that's getting into low voltage industry, get a hole saw kit, right? Unibits are nice. Hole saw kits are better. It's a cleaner hole whenever you drill in. It's a lot harder to mess up. Some people that have the drill bits in the center, the pilot bit will break and they won't swap it, right? They'll just keep trying to use it. Don't be that guy, because these do have a tendency to walk, and when they walk, they will mess up everything. When we talk about pilot bits, right, this is the hole saw, came in that same kit. It's one that's missing out of that slot. Gets beat up pretty bad, still works great. It's just the paint that's scraped up. When we say pilot bit, that's what we're talking about. It starts the hole, and then it holds the hole saw into a straight line. This is for putting in door contacts, creating pathways for wire, a lot of different uses. You're going to want to buy an extension for it if you're using it for door contacts. That way you can drill up into the door frame, and we'll do a separate video on that, and then drill through the top layer and then go all the way through the top of the aluminum header and get your wire down inside the frame and keep everything nice and hidden. We have a various selection of batteries. Right, so we've got the M12 batteries. These are for the Jigsaw. These smaller M18 batteries, this is what I was talking about as far as some of the kits having cheaper batteries with them, or smaller batteries. The CP 1.5 and CP 2s. You still get a pretty good solid amount of use. Like, you could use this all day for just putting up toggle bolts or something. Just nice easy work putting in drywall. You can get through most of the day with one of these. Of course, you've got the 4-hour batteries, the 5s, and then we start getting into the high demand batteries, right? So if you look at the side of this one, high output 8.0. I bought this kit because I was needing more for my blower and my weed eater. So I bought 2 of these for about $226. I would say batteries are the most expensive thing because you do have to replace them on occasion. So I've got 2 of these 8s, high demand, and then I have one 9 that came with the weed eater. And the high demand is just for any of the larger pieces of equipment like the chainsaws, the blowers, the weed eaters, the hedge trimmers. They require more. All right. Another tool for a tech is the backpack. Why do we say backpacks? Because you have to carry a lot of stuff. Quite often you're on a construction site, you don't have elevators, you're having to carry things up and down the stairs. So a backpack is a great investment. We'll go over that in depth. Definitely recommend the Milwaukee backpack. If you're getting into the low voltage industry and you're going to buy a backpack, buy one that has a hard plastic bottom, because you're going to be in wet, dirty areas. It's easy to clean off and dust off and not let your stuff get soaked in water. Then we have a tool pouch. This is actually a Husky one. Milwaukee doesn't make a pouch that I like yet. We have a Milwaukee Tool Bag that goes with the pack out kit, so it snaps in top. A whole bunch of screwdrivers, tweakers. Right, so this is a tweaker, and we'll go in depth over a bunch of these tools later in a different video. So a tweaker, control screwdriver, terminal screwdriver, it's all the same thing. This is all they're talking about is a very small flathead. Not sure if you guys can see that. That we can use for terminating wires. Pair of strippers. I had a Milwaukee brand, but they kind of walked off one day. So we'll probably buy another one just to try to finish it out. So pack out kit again. The small boxes can snap into the tall boxes can snap into the small ones. Very nice modular kit, but again, we'll do that in a different video. So to finish this video up before it gets too much longer, I'm not saying that Milwaukee is better than anybody else. I'm not saying, buy Milwaukee brand. I'm saying that when you do start buying tools, keep in mind what brand you want to buy long term. That's a lifelong investment. They will be changing the batteries on you eventually. It's just the nature of the beast. That's how they make a lot of their money. And, kind of force us to come back and buy different things. So the biggest thing you can do, or best thing you can do, is just make sure you don't buy a bunch of different tools. Save up or spend a little bit of extra money up front to just buy nice tools. The ranking of the tool systems, and I'll change the screen here to show something different just as we go through the ranks.